Welcome to what's Bothering Rashi, Parshat Kiseitze. This week's Parsha, Parshat Kiseitze, has many mitzvos in it, and 27 positive mitzvos, 47 negative mitzvos, together 74. One of them is in Perek Chav Beis Pasuk Aleph, the mitzvah of Hashavas Avedo, returning a lost object or a lost animal to its owner. So the pasuk says, Lo tireh et shor achicha, o et seyo nidachim. You should not see your friend's ox or sheep, nidachim, wandering around or lost, ve'itaramta mehem, and you will ignore them. Hashev teshivem le'achicha. You should surely return them to your brother. So says Rashi in Pasuk Aleph, the second Rashi, Dibra maschil lo tireh ve'italamta. Says Rashi, lo tireh oto shetitalem mimenu, zehu pshuto. Don't see him to ignore it. That's what Rashi says. What does Rashi mean and what is bothering Rashi? So it seems that what's bothering Rashi is, if you read again the first sentence in the pasuk, don't see your friend's animal lost, ve'it alamta mehem, and ignore them. What do those words mean? And ignore them. You're not supposed to ignore them. The next words, hashev teshivem le'achicha. You should return them to your brother. So what does ve'it alamta mehem, and you will ignore them? What does that mean? So says Rashi, we have to read it as one long sentence. And it's interesting to see the Dibra Maschil of Rashi. Usually it's one or two words that are connected. Here we have the Dibra Maschil is Lo tireh, the beginning of the pasuk, and then he skips a few words, ve'it alamta. That's the Dibra Maschil, the first words of Rashi, indicating that what Rashi is coming to say is that it's one long sentence, which means do not see your friend's animal lost and ignore them. That's part of what you shouldn't do. Don't do that. Hashev teshivem le'achicha. You should return them to your brother. You see, you can't ignore something unless you have seen it before. Or else, if you don't see it, you don't see it. But ignoring something means you have seen it, you saw it, and you decided to ignore. And that is what the pasuk is saying. Don't do that. Lo tireh et shor achicha o et seyo nidachim. Do not see your friends, your brother's animals lost, and then ignore them. That's what you shouldn't do. Hashev teshivem le'achicha. That's Rashi's first pshat. Zehu pshuto. And he says that is the simple meaning of the pasuk. But then he brings a medrash. V'raboteinu amru, it's a Gemara in Bava Metzia, that our rabbis teach us, pe'amim she'ata mitalem. Sometimes you have to ignore a lost object. The Gemara teaches us that there are cases, for example, if a Kohen sees a lost object in the cemetery, he can't go in and return it. He's not allowed to. He has to ignore it. Or another example, if a very important or respectful person sees an object which it's not respectful for him to carry it in the streets, he can ignore it. He should ignore it. Zaken ve'ina lefi chvodo, it's called. Which means, the Medrash says, the words ve'it alamta mehem can be read on their own. Not like the first pshat of Rashi. Ve'it alamta mehem, and you should ignore them. Sometimes you should ignore a lost object. When? If it's a Kohen, and the lost object is in the cemetery, or a Zaken, an important person, and it's not respectful for him to carry this lost object, which means the pshat, the first pshat of Rashi said this word is connected and it's a long sentence. And it's the end of the first part of the pasuk. And the Medrash says, Ve'it alamta mehem. Why does Rashi bring also the pshat and also the Medrash? Well, there seems to be a problem in each one of these explanations. According to the pshat, what's difficult is, why does the pasuk say it in such a way? It could have said, Ki tireh et shor achicha. When you see your animal, the animal of your friend lost, lo titalem, don't ignore it. Why does it say it in such a way? Lo tireh, don't see him and ignore it. It's a bit misleading, that sentence. Therefore, Rashi brings the second explanation, the drash, that says ve'it alamta mehem. No, the reason why it says it in this way is because it wants to teach you that sometimes you should ignore it. Ve'it alamta mehem. Sometimes there is a mitzvah, or there's just no mitzvah to return the object, and you should ignore the lost object. So the two pshatim, the two explanations Rashi gives, the prat and the drash, they don't really argue on each other, they complement each other. Each one comes to explain how to read the pasuk in a way where it makes more sense. Have a wonderful Shabbos.